Hello everybody, it's Peter here, Peta Murphy-Burke. I hope you're enjoying the lovely surroundings of the Library of Birmingham and are well into the debate because I'm talking about Chapter 8. So the title of the book is Making is Connecting by David Gauntlet. And the subtitle is The Social Meaning of Creativity from DIY and Knitting to YouTube and Web 2.0. So it really is a discussion about making. And this is interesting for me. I used to make things for a living, essentially using my hands to make a living for the past 17 years before moving into cultural policy. So in this book, he's talking about the DIYs, so the do-it-yourself, the knitter, the maker, the crafter, the designer, and the value that this physical making has to those who participate and share the interest, and how this world has been opened up again to a global market by the use of Web 2.0, so new technologies, creating a space where we can upload content and share our hobbies and our likes and our making for free. And he's essentially talking about a new value system as well that's been created that's quite distinct from the economic value system that we currently operate in. So it's more about a social value and a very human response to physical making. He's quite clear again about the kind of work that he talks about. So it isn't per se artist work. He doesn't really mention the word art, it's more artisan. And he's not really interested in mass market populism or what he refers to as the pretentious elitism of art world, which is the world that I operate in now because I work for Arts Council England and we do support critically acclaimed contemporary artists. So he's saying that that's quite elitist and that's quite far away from where he is talking about seeing a new emergence, a new social ordering using the web. He talks about future visioning, about education. So I've seen that the web has increased my daughter's horizons. She's a keen Minecrafter. She now does code. She took part in Young Rewired State. And she's also teaching herself Japanese straight from the web because she's really interested in anime and the culture of Japan, which is not something she would have come across in our hometown in Stoke-on-Trent. So, the chapter that I will be discussing is Web 2.0, Not All Rosy. And as the title suggests, it's the darker, shadowy side of the web. What actually happens to this free content? Who's making the money? And have we just become data? Is our human essence now a digital byte? So Gauntlet talks about the usability of the web, the ease of making connections, connectivity, building communities, coalescing around issues or products, creating relationships that may only exist via the web. And these are mainly on platforms such as YouTube, WordPress, Flickr, and Facebook. But the darker side that he alludes to is this double exploitation. So it's the unpaid labour of content creators and the user data we create as we surf the web and browse and look for websites, which actually can be quantified and sold to a marketing agency. This brings back to the work of Karl Marx, and he's quoted on page 191, and he talks about this forced surplus, the unpaid labour, the product of which is not under the producer's control. So essentially, we upload content to, say, YouTube, and they will make a profit from it. So he talks about the profits and the structuring, and how, because we have got this culture of giving for free, we will never be able to pay even micropayments for the work that we're doing. Gauntlet supports this view, but then he asks, are people really feeling pressurised to do this? Is it free labour in its truest definition, or is it in fact that the content is happily and voluntarily given by users who want to share their creative work? He introduces the work of Jaron Lanier, who has got a great digital pedigree, one of the first people to go into virtual reality, a true digital native. And he talks in his work, You Are Not a Gadget, about individual identity. And he's really fighting the corner for individuals' identity. Apparently in the early days of the web, when you were creating your own page, you used HTML and Notepad, and it was quite bespoke. It might be full of funky cats and crochet, but it was still really individual. Nowadays, everybody uses corporate templates of the Facebook. He also touched on ethics, and we talked about this other value system. So the difference between YouTube and Wikipedia as a business model. Obviously YouTube's highly commercial, Wikipedia is all about free, it doesn't support ads, and it's actually monetised by Wikimedia, which is a charity that supports Wikipedia. So it's the same but different, and that we can see an emerging trend in social enterprises. And then on page 205, he comes back to artistic value. So Gauntlet supports Lania's view that creatives have the right to be paid and gives value to the curatorial voice. So in my language, that's the curator or the producer who refines and presents a high-quality artistic offer. As Lania says, it is people, as opposed to machines, that need to develop the idea of others, dedicated to the delicate art of creating and making meaningful things. So, in summary, Gauntlet reflects on the current web revenue models made by the many, profit for the few, aggregations of content and ad brokers, but discovers the intrinsic value of making content and sharing it, and moving it to quality, and having a look at how high quality content does contain a value and therefore could be a paid model. And he's talking about how this can be developed and curated to provide both a social and economic value with new social enterprise business models. So all in all, an extremely interesting book, and I've enjoyed reading it. Good luck with the rest of the day. Goodbye.